Hi everyone, and welcome to Business is Politics. Joseph Lavoie coming to you from Toronto. I'm giving a speech tomorrow on changing regulatory environments, so looking forward to it. Let's pick up on our series. I'm experimenting with a new framework for multinational brands navigating complex political and regulatory landscapes. And as you know, I'm still fleshing this out, but I have, as I say, version 01 of 8 regulatory powers that the most successful businesses leverage to manage political risk, regulatory challenges, influence policy, and build a strategic advantage in diverse markets. Now, we've covered off the first 2 powers. Power number 1 was regulatory foresight. Power number 2, government engagement. So next up, today, we're going to talk about power number 3, which is the power of compliance leadership, which is simply setting industry benchmarks setting industry benchmarks by exceeding standard regulatory compliance requirements. And for extreme differentiation, this power involves developing proprietary technologies that enable superior compliance capabilities, which ultimately set the company apart in highly regulated industries. Companies that lead in compliance not only avoid legal pitfalls, but they also set higher industry standards that others may find challenging to meet. This, in turn, can create competitive advantage, position the company as a trusted market leader, and it can influence regulators to view the company favorably and potentially shape future regulations. So building on the example that we've been using over the last week, we're going to keep looking to Apple for inspiration on how these powers are applied. And Apple often exceeds standard regulatory compliance requirements, setting industry benchmarks. And there are 2 ways I think Apple exerts this power. The first is on its App Store guidelines. Apple's strict App Store policies ensure high quality, secure apps that surpass many legal requirements, especially many of the jurisdictions that Apple operates in. The guidelines often go well beyond the requirements. They focus on user safety, security, and privacy, and the guidelines explicitly state that the apps must comply with applicable privacy laws, particularly regarding data collection from children. So Apple's app review process is highly curated, with every app reviewed by expert. And I do think this positions Apple as a leader in user safety and privacy. And you've often seen that in a lot of their marketing materials as well. And there's a strategic advantage to that. It's securing a unique space in the regulated environment. So that's the first example. The second is on environmental and labor standards. So Apple's supplier code of conduct imposes stringent labor and environmental standards on its suppliers, often exceeding local regulations. And it also conducts rigorous assessments of suppliers, reviewing over 500 criteria when it does so. So what's happening here is that by leading in compliance, Apple builds trust with consumers, with regulators, and this potentially influences future regulations to align with its high standard and making it, frankly, difficult for competitors to match its compliance levels. So in other words, Apple sets the bar and others react. So looking ahead to the next decade, I think businesses that develop proprietary compliance capabilities will get a competitive advantage. So think platforms that lower compliance costs, reduce risks, and enable new market entry where compliance barriers are high. So there we are. That's power number 3. Tomorrow we'll take a look at power number 4. Talk then.